Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the first 20 days of reading. Can you believe it? We are already on day 10, halfway there, so let's begin. On Friday, we discussed a literary analysis. We looked very closely at different kinds of fiction. Well, today we are going to look at different kinds of nonfiction. For example, we could have informational texts that provide facts about a variety of topics: sports, animals, science, history, careers, travel, geography, space, and weather. Or we could have something like a biography, the story of a real person's life written by another person. Here are some other examples of nonfiction. A dictionary is nonfiction. Your history book is even nonfiction. One of my favorite nonfiction sources are science magazines. But even the nutrition facts on your cereal are nonfiction. All of these text sources are examples of how we can get information in various ways. So, what do we look for in nonfiction? Well, one thing that we notice in nonfiction text are captions. This is information under a photograph that tells more about the picture. We can also see a table of contents. This helps organize your nonfiction text into certain areas. There could be a glossary. Glossaries are where we go to get more information about certain keywords. Illustrations and photographs are both very popular in nonfiction books. And finally, a diagram. Diagrams give an illustration or a picture with labels to describe more about it. So now that we know what to look for, let's take a look at some nonfiction text. Okay, let's explore. Here, we see a text called Ooh, Germs. Well, I can see this as nonfiction. Let's look at a couple of reasons why. First, we see a heading. I also see illustrations. And photographs too. Next to the photographs, you guessed it, we have captions. This is definitely a nonfiction text. When you read nonfiction, it's important to set a purpose. When we read nonfiction, we want to learn something. So by setting a purpose, we get our brain ready for what we are about to learn. Take a good look at this text in front of us. What do you think we are going to learn? I see Ooh, Germs is the title. A person sneezing, a microscope, what looks to be photographs of some crazy things. You know what? I think I'm going to learn more about germs. I'm going to jot that down. That's going to keep my brain focused as I read. So, now that we've set a purpose for our reading, we can begin. I like to use sticky notes as I read. I like to break apart the text and jot down notes as I go. Note-taking is a great way for me to get more information. Okay, let's begin with the first paragraph. Achoo! You've probably had a nasty cold or flu at some time, and you probably know it was caused by germs. But hundreds of years ago, people had some wild ideas about why they got sick. Some people believed evil spirits caused sickness. Others believed that bad smells could make them ill. Okay, this paragraph is mostly about people didn't know why they got sick. I'm going to jot that down. Let's move on. Then along came a man named Antony van Leeuwenhoek. In his spare time, he made a microscope and used it to look at things around him. Through the microscope, he saw extremely tiny living things. They were things no one had ever seen before. Oh, that's really interesting. In his spare time, he just made a microscope. What was this paragraph mostly about? I know. AVL, that stands for Antony von Leeuwenhoek, made a microscope and found tiny living things. Now I'm ready to move on. Antony didn't know it, but he had discovered germs. Germs are too small to see without a microscope. In fact, germs are so small that thousands of them could fit in the period of the end of this sentence. Whoa, that's a pretty small period. I can't believe 1,000 germs could fit on there. Even though scientists everywhere began studying these tiny beings, it took hundreds of years before people understood germs caused sickness. That's really interesting. It took a really long time to figure that out since they first discovered germs. Let me jot down what this paragraph was mostly about. Lots of scientists began to study germs. Okay, I'm ready to move on. Today, we know that some germs help your body stay healthy, and other germs can make you sick. These pictures of germs were taken using a powerful microscope. Up close, the germs look cool, but the sickness they cause is definitely not cool. Wow, those are some really interesting photographs. And you know what? I noticed that it said some germs can make you stay healthy and some can make you sick. I didn't know that germs could also make you stay healthy. I'm going to write down my notes for this paragraph. Some germs are good and some are bad. So, by taking my time and looking at this paragraph, I was able to jot down some important information. When I set a purpose for reading, I'm better able to focus on that purpose as I go. So did I learn more about germs? I sure did. So, what's next? I want you to do 3 things. 1, find a nonfiction text in your house. 2, preview it. Write down all of the nonfiction text features that you see. Remember, things like captions, titles, diagrams, photos, things like that. And 3, set a purpose for reading. Jot it down on a sticky. And after you're finished, make sure you revisit your purpose and double check all of your facts. Happy reading!